All right, what's up, guys? This is Dan with the Bullish Bears team. Gonna do a little pre-market stream for you guys. Want to show you guys something that we share with our community every morning. This is the Trade Ideas Gap Up scanner. You guys can actually access this too. We have a page on our website. Let me just show you guys our website real quick. You guys can go right through here to scanners, and every morning I go through and I update this Trade Ideas Daily Gappers link. And if you click on that, you'll see that same data, but we stream it in real time to our traders, so they can just kind of come into our chat room and start looking at the gaps and look at the volume and the average number of prints and all that relevant data. And then also I've been sharing Benzinga's price spike, which is awesome for just kind of showing what's moving pre-market. It really complements the Trade Ideas scanner. You can see session highs, price spikes. You can see nugget, spiking. TNXP is currently on the gap scan. I'm going to go through all these stocks for you guys in a minute. And you can kind of tune this. It's a really good halt scanner too. Halt, resume, option activity, block trades. If you want to scan for lows, you can actually scan for lows. I typically am just looking at session highs, day highs, and price spikes, and you get lots of great data between these two scanner points. So let's start off with, I just have TVIX up, so let's just start off with TVIX. So TVIX in the rising channel. It's been breaking out of my fib resistance zone. Kind of just cruised through this fib zone since it bottomed out, and you can see this is the hourly chart. I use a 90-day 1 hour chart. I drew my customized Fibonacci retracement, and you could see that we kind of double bottomed here, and now we're back into this next fib bracket. So all through here we have all this room to recover, and you can see the next fib magnet, as it were, is 4181. So our hourly chart is just flying. We're breaking out of this up channel. If you look at the 1 minute chart, we kind of had this little cup and handle, and then the jobs report, economic data came out and just crushed. It was just a huge mess. So you got TVIX spiking, and of course you've got SPY dropping out of its channel. So it's kind of a bit of this could be a bit of a blow off kind of top today. It's kind of an early expected move. I was looking for some more back testing of support. We didn't get that on TVIX, and TVIX could really be running pretty nice today. Let me see if I can show you guys on a different chart. Some expected moves. So you got some resistance way out here. A lot of times when volatility is increasing, you get these megaphone patterns, and there's a bit of angular resistance way up here around 3850. So I drew this a little more accurately on another chart setup that I have, but I wanted to share basic charts with you guys so you can just get the fundamental gist of this. This is potential resistance for TVIX up here. So there's a bit of meat on the bone today, to say the least. So we'll be looking at TVIX while we trade some SPY options today. I'm gonna show you guys SPY. I got my fib, custom Fibonacci GAN, and I also have my custom fib retracements. And I'm looking at potential. Now, if we get a really nice thrust down today, we broke this yesterday's angular support. We're breaking some GAN angles as well. And I have my next area of support for SPY is in the 271.50 range, 271.75. I think we could potentially drop down to this level today. We're kind of bear flagging here. We'll have to see if they really walk this out, maybe retest the channel that we fell off of. This would be a good area to to enter short position or puts on SPY today. Yep, I'm going to look at TNXP in a second. Good morning to you. So this is kind of my trajectory, velocity of price I'm looking for. Potential wash on SPY down to the 271.75 area roughly, and we'll adjust it as it goes. All right, let's look at, I'll just look at TNXP. Wasn't the order I was going to go in, but since you said it, I'll take a look at it. So TNXP, I got resistance at 334. This is mechanical resistance. This is just fractal geometric resistance that I've been watching for a while on these on this particular chart, because this one is just always kind of volatile. It's kind of a funner penny stock to trade. It doesn't always run like this, but you see if you go back in history, there's been some really nice price spikes. And typically, because we're above this particular price level around 262, it starts to get pretty wild. We've really recovered. We've now advanced into a major resistance zone and then some. And the last time we were at this price area, we got this really huge spike. And so if TNXP decides to play nice with us today on the bull side, which you can see, it's just there's a really nice bull flag, bull pennant here. Back testing, it's riding the 9 on that 5-minute chart. This is the 9 EMA and a 5-minute chart. That's a nice momentum line. You've got, let me try to zoom out so I've got 488 as my next fib. Now that still has to contend with a lot of whole and half dollar, $quarter resistance levels. There's clearly some resistance up in these levels. You got to watch $4. Looks like 420 had some resistance in here. But this one is really just a momentum trade. If this breaks, this consolidates nice up here in the next half hour, maybe another bull flag or bull pennant, we could get further moved. This is going to be definitely well watched trade potential today. So TNXP high on the list. Let's take a look at TROV. So this one, really nice megaphone pattern. You've got a test of the megaphone and then a pullback and a retest. One sec, guys. Hey, I can't. So just leave him here. Just go wake Cooper up, because. All right, sorry about that. My son came into my office. And so we've got this nice pullback on the 5-minute 9 EMA, and then we are just ripping through it live right now. So this megaphone pattern is, these megaphone patterns will often break up to the upside. Just because it's at the top of a megaphone pattern doesn't mean it's going to reject. Sometimes we'll form new megaphone patterns, but typically megaphone patterns will eventually lead to a rising wedge or a falling wedge, depending on which way you're looking at it. As you can see on a 5-minute chart, this thing is just advancing. So usually what I like to do is go further out, take a look at the longer term price action. Because we're up here, I'm going to go back to the next highest peak where there was a price change and literally just go and draw the fib retracement high-low. And you can see right here, this blue line is a 50% retracement, which we just blew through. We've got our next level retracements up here around $11. So this one is going to be, this one has great potential. It's crossed its 100% already, and 11 looks like the next potential magnet for this, going on this major retracement level. We could even go further back on the daily chart. You've got this huge gap right here. Right, look at this huge gap. So that's looks almost at $10. It's like $9.89 or so. So we're not far from there now. Consolidation near here would be healthy. Rejection from this, hard rejection, could lead to some kind of really nasty pullback and better entry. Me personally, rather than chasing these things, if I don't get a good entry in the pre-market, I don't like to chase, and I'll look for a a test of this angular support through here. If this can back test here, it might be somewhere I like to go long. And if you look at this, this is really starting to build a rising wedge. You can see this is the top of the wedge, this is the bottom. I'd prefer, if I spot a rising wedge, I'd prefer to buy at the bottom anyways. So we'll see if this back tests this support. If it does, that'd be great. It might consolidate and bull flag, and there might be a really nice scalp up to 11 bucks. We'll see if it does. So that's TROV. Here's one really nice last night. It broke out of its ascending pattern. You can see right through here. Let me just clear the chart. I got some mess on this line. We were on this one yesterday on the day trade room. Worked out really nice. So we had kind of a nice ascending pattern. Just broke out, ran the 9. And you've got now angular. You've got angular resistance up here. And it kind of looks head and shoulders-ish. There's a bit of a, there's a bit of a descending triangle through here. So if price gets contained inside this triangle, there might be some, some good meat on the bone to trade this range. But preferably I'm going to buy at the base of one and something of a inverse head and shoulders or a cup and handle or V bottom. I'll look for some type of pullback to this line. And again, if we break this right angle, we could get a nice momentum trade. And there's a strong possibility we even need to back test this line. This line looks like support. We've kind of got an aggressive megaphone here. So this is another one that's I'm telling you guys, it's nice to see this kind of amount of penny stocks running left and right. BPTH set it off, and now everybody else is you're starting to see some other companies really start to run nicely. SAEX is on the gap scan. Nice overnight gap up. You got consolidation. And let's see, what's the let's look at the hourly first. We're kind of starting to pull back at the top of the range. I don't know if this one will have that many traders looking at it with some of the other better picks through here. It's definitely been just trading in this range, and it's at the upper end of this range, and it's already pulled back pretty hard. So this is not going to be high on my list, but I thought I would at least take a look at it, show you guys why I think that, why I think those others are better based on the analysis I just did. And you can look at this hourly chart. It's bouncing off the 9 EMA a little bit on the hourly. That's a chart that I look at for momentum as well. And if some really strong volume comes in, you got to really look closely at that 575 level, and you could see how the bears have protected that on an hourly chart. If you look at a 15-minute chart, the bulls did okay a couple times getting past, but majority of price has been kind of inside this range this morning, and now we're starting to get below it. 90 EMA's curled over, so I just don't like it as much as the other ones. We did TVIX. Let me show you guys dust. This is actually something I'm looking to buy some. It doesn't have a lot of open interest in it, but it's a really easy trade. I got dust that I'm looking to buy some puts on for some longer term. I really like the rejection of resistance up here. I've got a couple of Gann angles to help me figure out the time on how long I want to be in these, and I've got this angular support down here, which continues to move down. I guess I gotta adjust my chart so you guys can see. I need some more bars to the right. Let's do 500. There you go. Now you can see a little bit better. So I'm looking at this support way down here around 11 bucks. I'm looking for a pretty nice pullback. It's going to take a while for it to get down there. It's possible that we bounce a little bit here and retest this, but we've kind of already hit my retest goals once by hitting this level, coming back, and rejecting. So I'm kind of looking at this as an hourly double top. And if I can get a good entry today, then I'll hold on to these for a couple weeks or so and hopefully book some profit somewhere down in this range on dust. Yep, just give me one sec. Similarly, let me look at GLD. This chart might be a little messy, so apologize in advance. No, it's not bad. Okay, so you can see the different patterns and wedges and consolidation triangles and breakouts and angular momentums and the big channel here. I'm looking for GLD to essentially come back. This is part of a retest strategy. Retest backtest strategy where I look for, after a major channel has been holding and running and you got areas where the trend has changed and finally this channel breaks and everybody takes all this profit. I'm looking for this to come all the way back up and retest right here and potentially get back inside the channel, although I don't think it's very likely without a double test. But I would like to see GLD, gold, GC come back and test this channel again, and then I would potentially go short again and close my dust depending on what happens there. So I'm looking at GLD for another swing. This is something our long-term swing trader Tim has been trading off and on over and over and over again and done really well. So Tim's more of a longer term options trader, and he loves the metals, the precious metals, GLD, SLV, so on and so forth. Let's see, that's in lowercase AFH. I had to squint my eyes to see that what you typed. All right, so clearly a huge gap down. Huge gap down. Where did that gap start? You gotta go back. You gotta go way back on this one. Wow. I mean, it's below its 20-year weekly. I mean, I stay away from charts like this because they're below such major support. I would certainly not want to trade this more than a few very, very short term. It doesn't appear to really have a lot of volatility. It could be putting in a bullish, belt hold somewhere in the 250 range. I mean, right now it's holding 243. You've got the gap up here. Eventually this could potentially fill the gap. There's some angular resistance right there. Sometimes I find these kind of sloping descending triangles can be good, and when you start to see them squeeze out of that right angle, price will really start to move up. But I would personally just stay away from this one because of the nature of this chart. Alright, so let's see. Did I cover everything on my list? I think I covered everything on my list kind of quickly. If you guys have any symbols you want me to look up. Oh, let me show you real quick. Tesla. I'm looking at Tesla to either retest this right angle today or just completely wash out and break yesterday's low range. You've got a descending triangle, and then there's a bigger descending triangle. So there's some potential meat on the bone for Tesla short. I kind of like this down channel that's formed here, but if it breaks out, I'm looking at 296 for a potential retracement. 50% retracement on Tesla. I'm looking at Facebook today. I've traded options on this one really the last week, and it's been very, very good, very predictable. You had a nice bear flag here, break down, another bear flag, break down, look for another bear flag, break down, And these are old supports. These are a little bit older as we're getting into some interesting territory with this market. Let's see, we got resistance here, we got resistance here, or support rather. ACB, there's a good one. All right, so ACB completed some major retracements, 50% retracement almost up here, and it's pulling back pretty hard now. And you've got this fib down here. I have it marked as 33 as the next area of support. You can see how it broached it, pulled back, and then just ran really hard. So now it's coming all the way back to that level. There's a little bit of horizontal support for ACB, but it's not a very particularly strong one around 730, but it could bounce pretty hard. If you're looking to take a long position on ACB for any amount of time, you're looking for some type of bullish pattern to form. So you want to see like a shoulder with like a head, and then maybe another shoulder here, and then break out and escape all this resistance that's being built in this right angle. Looking at the longer term 4-hour chart, it needs to find a bottom. You need some green candles. These 4-hour charts are just saying stay away. We could potentially move back to the $7 range. $7 range could be a really good buy. Some traders were asking me this week about where to go long on ACB for a swing. They said a lot of people are buying calls and they wanted to buy some. They said, oh, they're cheap. I said, well, you could get a better price later. Trust me. The way this chart is looking, it rejected pretty hard. I already covered SEEL at the beginning. I'm looking for this right angle to get tested somewhere in here. And if it breaks this right angle, there's a good potential long. I'd really like it to back test this angular support. We've got strong trend change here, really strong trend change. So this trend line right here is in particular valuable to me. And if I see any type of intense volume come in off a back test of this line, is probably where I'll place a candlestick long with a candlestick stop. And I'll look for a cup and handle, inverse head and shoulders, V bottom, bull flag, bull pennant, some pattern to support my move. So, all right, guys, I am looking to wrap it up. Again, we share these scanners with our group. So if you come into our trade room, you guys will have access to all the gapping stocks, different price spikes and signals generated by Benzinga. We've got lots of moderators, traders. My favorite way of trading with small accounts is with CMEG, which uses DOS Trader or Sterling, and it has awesome hotkeys. I just posted a link to it. If you go to if that link doesn't work for you, you can go to our website and just search for CMEG. It's an offshore broker. There's no PDT rule. DOS Trader is what I use for this platform. Awesome hotkeys. You can the margin is pretty good. 6-to-1 ratio. So if you have a $500 account, you're getting access to that. And you can, not that I recommend you guys trade on margin, but you can trade little small trades. It's $2.95 trades. It's really inexpensive. And I'm very happy with that broker. The other best way is with a cash account with TD Ameritrade. So we recommend that if you're trading options, you trade with a cash account, small account, and that way options settle overnight. And because options settle overnight, you can day trade options in a small account every day. And it works really nice. You could do it on something like, AMD and which has a nice ATR. It's pretty predictable with its patterns. You can see AMD pulling back, but you could buy their calls and puts are very liquid. They've got tight spreads, lots of open interest, lots of liquidity, and this is at the bottom of the channel. AMD could potentially bounce in this zone, and this is something that I tell new traders to trade a few predictable option stocks that you get used to, so you really get used to all your analysis. You have it all on your chart. There's no guesswork. And you buy your calls and puts. We have a whole playlist on day trading options, trying to teach people how to day trade options. I myself show people live options trades, day trade in our trade room. So a lot of guys with small accounts have decided to go that way. But between the penny stock world, there's two ways. You could use CMEG to day trade penny stocks and have the hotkeys and get nice clean order fills and shorts, or you could day trade options in a cash account. The third way, which a lot of guys are doing in our group, is they're selling option spreads, and they're doing iron condors and credit and debit spreads, and they're making money that way, slowly selling premium. So that's another good way to build a small account. But I'm going to head back over to our trade room, chat room. So if you guys want to come check us out, I just have that CMEG post. This is a whole review on that platform. But you guys, we got all these free courses. We have all this information on trading companies, different setups and tools and computers we use, books we read. We've got our watch lists, our trade alerts. We have 3 different rooms, people in them live streaming. We got our blog, scanners. We share our scanners every day. We've got TrendSpider, Benzinga Pro info, black box stocks, all of our streaming replays, our whole library with next level training. So if you go in here, you guys are going to get a sneak peek right now. These are all our scanner settings. You get those when you become a yearly member. You have to be a yearly member to access all this stuff. But you've got all of this, the scanner settings. You've got the advanced how to trade candlesticks, our advanced technical analysis courses, basically advanced options, how to do all those spreads and condors we were talking about. Long-term options. This is Tim's, does a weekly video where he shows you guys how to trade long-term options, and he adjusts his position and updates you guys in real time. This is my day trading options, so you'll get all of this info on day trading options. I kind of touched on that a little bit. And we got our futures trading webinar and replays, and then a bunch of resources for you guys. So I'm going to head back. Hope you guys take a look at us, bullishbears.com. Come join us in the trade room. Going to have some fun today. It's Friday. Trade safely, guys. Thanks for watching the stream, and we'll see you on the other side.